Thursday. I'm Pia from Stitches and Scraps, and this is Lunchtime Live, episode 106. I'm just moving my microphone a bit. There we go. For those of you who are new here, Lunchtime Live is my video newsletter, so I'll be telling you all of the stuff going on at Stitches and Scraps, and then we'll finish with a quick demo. Now for 2022, I've been doing a Stitch of the Week every week. And this week's stitch is the crochet rice stitch, which is a beautiful reversible stitch, which I'll show you at the end of the episode. But first, all the new exciting stuff that's going on. Also, for those of you who are new, as I talk about things and show you patterns and things like that, if you want to see the links for those, like when I show you the bag pattern, if you want to go get the pattern, in the description on this video, you'll see a link to a blog post. In that blog post, I've listed everything I plan to talk about, so all the links are there. You can just go there and it's all right there for you. You can go to anything that I'm talking about today. So, sorry, my screen is saying no data. Okay, never mind. I guess it is coming through. Anyway, so let's get started with what's new on the blog this week. Good morning, Mary. How are you? It's good to see you. I am so happy that the weather's finally cooling off. You have no idea. I'm so bad with heat, and it's been so nice. But my allergies are bothering me, of course, because it's fall. So if I'm doing this a lot, sorry, my nose is itchy. But yeah, if I sound funny, it's just allergies. But I hope you guys are all doing well and having a good week. Okay, so first up, the pattern for bag number 5 in the Bag Along Cal. That's the year-long Cal that we're doing. Every 2 months, we're releasing a new pattern, and each pattern has 2 to 3 tutorials going along with it. This one is going to be 3 tutorials. This is bag number 5. The pattern is now up on the blog. This is the Classic Cables, there we go, hello, the Classic Cables tote bag, and it does have, included in the pattern, a sewn lining with a pocket. So, sorry, you can't really see that. There we go, with a pocket. So the instructions for that are all in there. As far as tutorials, and this is for coming soon for next week, next week, I'm going to have the tutorial for this cable pattern specifically. So just these 2 cables that are here. I'm not going to show the whole bag, but because the whole bag's mostly just half double crochet, so it's, you know, it's a pretty easy crochet task. The challenges, the fun parts are these 2 cables, and then inside the lining and the assembly to some extent, but even the assembly is pretty straightforward. So the tutorials I'm going to have for you, I believe, if I remember correctly, are these cables, and then the way that I've seamed the bottom of the bag, where you have a side edge going against a, like the bottom edge. So this seam I'm going to have a tutorial for, and then the lining, obviously, I'll have a tutorial for. But the first tutorial that comes out next week is going to be for those cables on the sides of the bags. So that'll be next week. But the pattern is out now. So you can go get the pattern and make your bag. And make sure while you're there to enter the giveaway. The Cal is sponsored by We Crochet. And this bag, this 2-month period, we're giving away a beautiful sketchbook and wooden ruler. So go ahead and enter the giveaway for that too. You don't have to make the bag in order to enter the giveaway. What else is new on the blog? Let's see. So coming up, I'm very excited. This came in the mail 2 days ago, and I've waited to really open it so that I could open it with you. I have been working with or talking to a company called GSJJ. They do, hi Helene, good to see you. They do custom designed items. So things like pins, buttons, patches. I really like they've got these PVC patches that are kind of cool. And I mean, everything like belt buckles and those wristbands. or bracelet type, you know, the like silicone bracelet type things. They do those. They have just a ton of stuff out there. So the company name is, let's see. The company name is GSJJ. That's their logo there, and it's gsjj.com. And they sent me this box, and I'm so excited. Are you ready to see what's in it? Okay, let me not knock into my camera here. All right, so they've got two things wrapped up in the plastic wrap here. I took out some of the extra packing material, but I wanted to wait to really open this to show you guys. So let's start with these ones, because I think these ones are really cool. These are, so you guys know my Facebook group is Scrappy Stitchers, because I'm Stitches and Scraps, and if you are one of the group members, you are a Scrappy Stitcher, right? So they sent me these patches, and they've got the iron-on backing that say Scrappy Stitcher. So everybody who's in the group is a Scrappy Stitcher. And these are the patches. Now I know I'm going to give away most of these. I'm going to use a couple on some of my stuff because, come on, I need to have my own patch, right? I'm going to use a couple on some of my stuff, but I'll give away the rest, and I'm not sure how I'm going to give them away. I'm pretty sure I'm going to toss them in as freebies with purchases in the store. So if you buy yarn from me, you'll get a little patch that says Scrappy Stitcher. Probably, I haven't decided for sure yet, not till I'm done with the review, but once I set that for sure, I'll come tell you. But I love this patch for a couple different reasons. Okay, so my logo is not as uncomplicated as it probably should be. I designed it myself. I am not a graphic designer. And one of the things that's kind of complicated in it is, do you see the little, oh, I can't zoom in that way because I'll lose my, here we go. Do you see the little yarn ball? Okay, that as a line drawing would not have translated well to an embroidery pattern. I think they actually did some tweaking on that to make sure that the lines on the yarn ball to make it look like yarn and not just a big circle. I think they actually put some work into making that come out nicely in the embroidery, which I think is awesome. And then it's got that little hook, which is there. So all the little details you can see in the patch, in the embroidery. So I was really happy with how these came out. And I'm going to have a review of the whole process of working with them, of how I like these. I'm going to go ahead and iron this onto something and sew it on and show you guys that. Probably a pair of jeans. I've got a pair of jeans that have been falling apart steadily, and they're my dog walking jeans and my dog park jeans. They're falling apart, and I've kind of been patching them up and embroidering them as I go just for fun. So this patch is definitely going on that pair of jeans at some point, but I'll show you that probably later. I'm going to have the review out first. I'm hoping to get that out next week. I do have other stuff scheduled for next week, so I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to get to it, but hopefully I'll get this out next week, the review for this. And there's more, they sent me more. Okay, so that was the patches. The thing that I'm nuts for, you guys may know I collect these to some extent, are enamel pins. They sent me enamel pins with my logo on them. Now, here I feel like I made a mistake. My logo is long and narrow, and so the pins are long and narrow. And I kind of wish I'd used my square logo instead, because I do have a square version of the logo that I never use. But I wish I'd used that instead, because I think a square pin would have just been more, it would have had more presence, right? But these did come out super, super cute. And they're in individual little baggies. So let me just get, of course I can't get the bag open. Yeah. So yeah, they made what I asked them to make. And what they made, you know, is great for what I asked them to make. I do wish that I had asked for the square logo instead though, but look at these. Look at how nice those are. Okay, wait, let me zoom in again. Yeah, I either should have gone square or I should have gone bigger, but these will still be really cool. So look, you can still see all the little detailing in it. And the cool part is this is now I could be wrong. I could have this wrong. It'll be correct um in the review. They have a soft enamel and a hard enamel. And I'm pretty sure this is the soft enamel is the one that has the actual depth to it. So you can see it's actually recessed in there. I think that's what this one is, but I will double check that when I do the review. I'll double check what they told me they were sending me. They have both a soft and a hard enamel. This one does have texture to it. So I'm assuming this one's a soft enamel. But it's really cool, and they have both. So really, really cool. You can get all sorts of like any design you want, and look how detailed they could get. Look how tiny this is, you guys. That's my thumbnail. Look how tiny that ball of yarn is, and you can still see the detail in it. So I am thrilled with these. They're really excellent products. And I will give them away at some point because I don't need 20. I'll keep some. I'll give some away. But you know, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to give them away. I want to give them away in a way that makes sense. So give me some time to decide how to give them away, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing with them if you want one. But these little pins that say Scrappy Stitcher, I'm going to put one right here, and I'm going to put one up there on my pin wall, and I'm going to put one pretty much everywhere else I can. But they're very cool. I love having my own pins. I don't know why I'm like totally geeking out on this. But yeah, if you have any kind of business at all, these are great for promotional items. But I was also thinking, like, you don't have to have a business. And this is why I decided to do the review. You don't have to have a business. If you're making Christmas gifts and you want to get little patches that say made by Nana, you know, or handmade with love or whatever, put your name on it. You know, they're kind of expensive if you just get one. But if you get like 20 or 30, you pretty quickly hit a reasonable price. So get something that you can use on lots of projects, but they have so many different things. It's a really exciting site. So that review is going to come up. Let me just put this away so I stop making rattling noises. But that review is going to come up next week sometime. I still have to get it photographed and written properly. And then that'll come out next week. So, okay. That is that. Now, what else is coming up? Next week I'll have, I told you, the tutorial for the cable pattern, and then hopefully this review. And then for the next week's Lunchtime Live, what I had planned to show you, what's on my calendar, is a knit embossed diamond pattern. I'm going to take a look at that. I'll probably stick with that, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I might want to do something a little different. So, but either way, next week will be a knitting pattern and probably an embossed pattern. But this week is a crochet pattern, and we're looking at the crochet rice stitch. So while we're doing this, you guys think about, with those pins and patches and belt buckles, and you could get keychains, all sorts of stuff. What if you could get anything made with any design you want? What would you want 20 of? What would you make with it? What would you put a patch on? Think about that. Let me know. And let me know at the end. And I'm jumping in now to this demo portion. Let's move that microphone a little bit. Okay. I'll forget it. You guys don't mind if the microphone's in the camera, do you? Okay. Where's my hook? There's my hook. So this is rice stitch. If you are familiar with crochet basket weave, this is basically a one stitch basket weave. So it's alternating front post and back post stitches to create kind of these grains of rice. So let's look at how that's made. It's super easy. And then we'll talk about, like, if odd number stitches versus even number stitches, and looking at, you know, when to go front, when to go back. So this starts on a row of double crochets. I've got 9 double crochets here. So I'm going to just chain 3 and turn. I'm using the end stitches just as edge stitches. So those are just going to be, sorry, I need half double crochet. So just chain 1 and turn. those end stitches are going to be just half double crochets. Okay, so half double crochet in the first stitch, and now we're going to set up the pattern. I'm going to start with a front post. So if you guys remember a front post, you yarn over, insert your hook from front to back, around the back, and out the front again. Okay, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through two, yarn over and pull through two. That is a front post. Now a back post is the opposite, and we're going to do back post next. You go from back to front and then out the back again. Okay, notice the hooks, everything on the hook is in the back, right? The hook is behind your work. That's how you know you're doing a back post. When everything's in the front, it's a front post. So here, everything's in the front, right? So that's a front post. That's an easy way to remember. Okay, so we're alternating front, back, front to get us started. So back, front. This is easy. You guys have done this for ribbing and all sorts of other designs where you're just alternating front and back stitches. Now notice, because I have an odd number, right? I have 9, I have 2 edge stitches, which means I have 7 left over. So these are pairs, front, back, front, back, front, back, which means there's 1 extra left over. So I start and end with a front post stitch because I have an odd number of stitches. That means, and this is a half double crochet in the end, chain 1 and turn, half double crochet. That means this is a 1 row repeat, because look what happens when I turn. The front post stitch on this side looks like it's in the back here, right? And the back post stitch looks like it's in the front. Got that part? Okay. So we're going to alternate. When a stitch looks like it's in the back, we're going to pull it to the front. When it looks like it's in the front, we're going to pull it to the back, which means this one, which I ended with, remember on this row, we started and ended both with a front post stitch, right? So I started and ended with a front post stitch, and now on this side, I'm going to start with a front post stitch. So that means I'm also going to end with a front post stitch. So it's front post, and then we alternate all the way to the end, and then we end with a front post. So it's the same exact row that we worked before. It is a 1 row repeat because it's an odd number of stitches. Now what would happen if it was an even number of stitches? And now I'm just alternating, right? Front post, back post, front post, back post. If it was an even number of stitches, I would end after a back post stitch, right? Because they're in pairs. Front post, back post, front post, back post, front post, back post. So then my last stitch, my half double crochet, would be here. I'm just ignoring that last stitch for now. We're just, would be here. So I'm ignoring this last stitch. We're cutting off that last stitch. Now we have an even number. Now we've gone from 9 to 8. We have 8 stitches. Now watch what happens. When I chain 1 and turn, this back post now looks like a front post, okay? So I do my half double crochet, but then instead of starting with a front post, I have to start with a back post. So if it's an even number of stitches, you have a 2 row repeat because you alternate. On one row you start with a front post, and on the other row you start with a back post. So either way, you don't even have to remember even and odd. After you set up the first row, all you do is, if the stitch looks like it's in the front, pull it to the back with a back post. If the stitch looks like it's in the back, pull it to the front with a front post. And that's all you have to remember to make rice stitch. And when you do several rows of it, it looks like this, and you can see where it gets its name, the little grains of rice. Let me stretch it out a little bit. Once you block it, it actually opens up into kind of a very airy kind of a stitch. I really like it. Great texture for trivets, washcloths, honestly, anything in the kitchen I think would look great with this. Towels, all of that kind of stuff. But that is the rice stitch. So that's everything I had for you today. Anybody had any ideas on what they might get or use on like patches or pins or stuff like that? Throw it in the comments, even if it's after we're done, because it'll be fun to read what everybody thinks. And then look for that review next week. I've been working with them on this for several weeks now, and I've been like not telling you guys because I wanted to keep it a secret till they came, which I'm really bad at. I'm so bad at secrets. but I'm excited. I'm really excited that they came. So I'm happy to get this review out. And I'm happy they turned out well, because there's nothing worse than working on a project and then it comes and it's not good, right? But these came out really, really nicely. So I'm very happy with that. So that's all I have for you today. And I will see you guys next week, and we'll talk about knitting embossed designs. So that's it. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye.